I was born in a town of about 12, maybe 15 people, and it's just our house, my grandparents' house, and we're very dirt poor. My father had been in World War II, made it back pretty much intact, but we just had nothing. Just really had nothing. My dad always wanted us to have a horse ranch. I mean, that was his dream, and we couldn't afford horses, so I remember he bought a cow, and that's what so I first learned to ride a horse by riding a cow. So it's a really simple life. We ended up, of course, that was the problem with having a cow as your horse, is that ultimately you end up eating it, and so we went through several cows. We went to a small town church. It's just me and my brothers, and that's where I first started to sing. We had couldn't afford instruments, of course. My mother wanted me to be a drummer, so I would play with pots and pans and spoons, and of course that was really awkward when you got to church, and I would just basically use the pots and pans in the church kitchen. And then my brother would play the piano, and my other brother would play a plastic trumpet. So it was a very strange upbringing, very simple. We had a lot of love, didn't have money, had a lot of love. You know, the first time I got a laugh, I think it was probably about 8 months old or something. I think it was something I did, like something with my mouth or some sort of look, and my Aunt Georgia was filming it on her little 8mm camera, and I kept doing like one of those whoa looks, you know, like something like that, and everybody would laugh, and then I realized that people would laugh at things that I would do. So I mean, just from the very beginning as a child, rather than sitting there at the table, I would stand on the table. That was, and my mother was always saying, you know, we're supposed to sit in a chair, and I said, I want to be up on stage, Mom. You know, so that was really right at the very beginning.
It was 76. I was with my family performing, and it was a big festival. Wichita?
The USA
Palooza.
USA Palooza.
USA Palooza.
Yeah.
I was performing with my family, and you were there.
I was there. This was before my band got together, so no. That would have been the Shock Trumpets. The Shock Trumpets. We were playing that. The USA Palooza. It was in San Antonio.
It's in Wichita.
Okay. Anyway, that's how we met. I shook hands with him. I said, "Hey, I love their sound. I love the sound. I said, this guy can really sing, and by that I meant his dad. And so I was hoping that Duke was a chip off the old block. Maybe he could sing too. And the funny thing was, he couldn't sing as good as his dad, because his dad had a really pure, kind of a, you know, very pure voice for a lead singer, but he sang like Elvis. And so I said, hey, this guy sings like Elvis. I don't think anybody else even noticed that until I did, that you had an Elvis.
That's actually the reason we were booked there.
Well, I was kind of hurt over that, because I didn't know he was even thinking about leaving, and I didn't know that he was a comedian. I always thought that he did better, you know, just singing and stuff like that. And I just wondered who it was that influenced him to get him to leave the family and the family band.
Well, you know, it wasn't really that much of a. I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it as maybe broadening, you know, our reach, and then maybe one day using that back again to you know, bring the family back together, and you know, perform again, a little more notoriety. So to me, it kind of looked like it would help, you know, all around.
Well, yeah, but when you told me that you wasn't going to sing with me anymore, that kind of sounded to me like it was pretty definite and pretty much the end of things.
Yeah, it was rough for a while. We didn't actually talk about working together until the year after at the fair convention.
That's true, because at the USA Palooza, I didn't even say one word to you.
No, you came up and introduced yourself and asked us to come listen to your band.
I think I wanted your dad's autograph. Anyway, that's not really important. What's important is that we somehow You know,
We got
like
together.
a magnet and glue. Two people come together, and you know that something's supposed to happen.
First performance together.
That was it was like a youth festival.
It was the Broiler Festival. Little bitty country town.
I don't even remember that. Was it?
That was it.
Where they do the chickens. The chickens. I mean, if you call getting booed terrible, we were terrible.
No, it's been a while, but the way I remember, you went out and wanted to do some type of comedy pre-show, and
I don't remember
that didn't go well, and the man in charge came up and said, "Starting the music."
That
You're outta
guy.
here.
Okay, this is how it went. What happened was I wanted to do a little comedy mix in, and he wanted to just keep it music. But I thought, well, look, I have a comedy background. He's kind of a funny guy, and so I thought, why don't we do a little bit of comedy? He starts doing the music, and they were like booing. This is the first set. We go off the set. The guy, whatever his name was, Kramer or Cramston or whatever, the guy that ran the place, he says, get Mr. Walker. He said, get off of our property. So I said, look, give us one more chance. I have an idea. You wanted to pack the trailer, get out of there, grab the chickens, and go. I said, no, look, I'm in show business for a reason. That's how I remember it. I said, Duke, we're going to do another set.
I remember a little different that he said if you kept doing the jokes and the pratfalls and all that.
So here's what happened. We do the second set.
All music.
We do the second set. It was predominantly music, but what it was he was trying to perform it, and I'm doing like pratfalls and stuff behind him, like knocking over the drums. Everybody thought it was hilarious. And that's when we got that was the first magazine article that was written on us, that the gospel music of Taney County Legends,
County, yeah.
The Legends of Taney County.
The magazine.
They did that article on us. That was our first performance. And it was a good article, except for the part about the chicken thing. They thought we stole the chickens. They gave us those chickens, as I recall.
They never asked us back.